Let's put some faces to these numbers. Who are some of these folks? I'm not going to go in depth on these. If you have a question about any one of these, something, I'll say something briefly, because I'm going to show you a bunch of people who have adopted in some way Hebrew Israelism. This does not mean they now wear a certain uniform and are out on a street corner. That's not all Hebrew Israelism is. That's an aspect. Just like Christians. There's Christians who are street evangelists, but you wouldn't just think of Christianity just as people who are street evangelists. So if they've adopted Hebrew Israelism some way publicly that's known, I'm going to show who they are. Let's look at some of them. Go to the next one. These are Christian hip-hop artists, people in CHH. At least 3 people have come out in some way public identifying as Hebrew Israelite. You guys might know who they are. Let's take a look. We got Zadok, affiliated with God Mob. I was in a debate with Zadok. It was me and Hazakim versus Zadok and Lavoisier. I said to Zadok, this is on a platform that's been taken down now called Blab. Anybody remember Blab? I said, is Jesus God? Zadok's response was, basically. That's what Zadok said to me. That's troubling because Street Hymns, also pictured, says Zadok is his mentor. Shout out to Zadok, and Elisa Fields' interview just came out. And then you see Street Hymns in a battle recently talking about a multiplicity of divine beings to rule the nations. That's his understanding of Psalm 82. That's not, if that was all, you could say, okay, that's a Heiser-like interpretation. Maybe we could roll with that. But if you know in the background, Zadok is a teacher, and Zadok believes that Jesus, in essence, is created, it's soft Arianism. It is not Christian. It is not Christianity. Zadok is not a Trinitarian. That's why it matters that you may say, I don't know who Zadok is. He has influence within Hog Mob and now with Street Hymns, one of the most well-known Christian battle rap artists. The tendency for people to be is, maybe Vocab's a party pooper. Maybe it's not a big deal. I heard him talk. Just chill out, man. Just relax. Most people who say that either are on their way to adopting troubling tenets of Hebrew Israelism, or to be frank with you, they don't understand enough to realize it is a problem. Imagine in the 1st century, early 2nd century, when Gnosticism was really coming out more and more in the early church, and someone said, hey, he sounds kind of like a Gnostic. He sounds like Marcion over here. Hey, man, he still affirms Jesus. He even says Jesus is God. Just relax. He affirms parts of the Bible. Just relax. It's destructive to the essence of the gospel the deeper you go and understand what's really happening beneath the surface. Secular hip-hop artists as well. Oh, the last one is Eshon Burgundy. I didn't even get to mention him much. Dope artist, but he's, to be frank with you, probably the sloppiest when he talks about Hebrew Israelism. It's a real mess. And that's because some of the people he follows as teachers. We could do a whole session on that. Secular hip-hop artists. Let's take a look at a few. Most people know Kendrick. Kendrick there is with Carl Duckworth. Carl Duckworth is the man who leaves the voicemail messages on the album Damn, if you've heard the album Damn. Carl Duckworth is the one with the voicemail messages, a former soldier in IUIC. That's the Purple and Gold guys. Purple and Gold guys are featured in an Ice Cube tweet. Ice Cube talking about, your time is running out. Retweeting IUIC Indiana. Imagine the day. Snoop Dogg around the same time put out a video, and when he talked about unity, he showed a picture of Hebrew Israelites, specifically IUIC, the Purple and Gold guys. Kodak Black, not saying he's on a street corner, but he is hanging out with Elite in Zion. They did come and visit him when he was locked away. It's a whole thing with Kodak Black, because I know some of you say, but didn't he recently get saved? Pray for the young man, because he's got multiple influences in his ear. That's not all, but let me show you some more. Entertainers, singers, actors. Let me show you a few. Nick Cannon, not saying he's Hebrew Israelite. Clearly he has multiple viewpoints in his system, but he does adopt key tenets of Hebrew Israelism. This came out in this conversation with Professor Griff. Brandon T. Jackson, now he's a Hebrew Israelite. Fantasia is a member of GOCC. Her husband's the one who got her into it, but she is in Gathering of Christ Church, which is a less than Orthodox Hebrew Israelite group. Bill Cosby, not saying he's a Hebrew Israelite, but he did tweet Shout outs to his teachers, who are all Old Testament only Hebrew Israelites. Bill Cosby retweeting Hebrew Israelite tweets, or giving them a shout out in his tweets, rather. And you guys remember the twins from Jagged Edge? Next slide. One of them is actually, screen's a little dark, doing songs with Hebrew Israelites. This is a group called Sakari, one of the worst Hebrew Israelite groups that's here, and they're in Tampa. Look up Tampa Sakari, doing songs with him. Just type in Sakari Jagged Edge. Not only that, athletes. Let's look at basketball first. Horace Grant at a Hebrew Israelite party, rocking the fringes. Carmelo Anthony. Now you may say, but I thought he was with the Fivers. You can mix and match, and so that's why you're adopting certain elements of Hebrew Israelism. Again, doesn't mean you're putting on the fringes like Horace Grant, apparently. Then even Dwight Howard. Now his situation is confusing. What exactly does he hold to? It's more in tweets and Instagram posts. Carmelo has actually said it on his IG lives that we are the people, et cetera, et cetera. Amari Stoudemire, he's in more Orthodox Judaism, and he actually does a lot of stuff in Israel these days. But he's an Old Testament only Hebrew Israelite. What about in football? Let's take a look at those guys. That's probably the most prominent field for Hebrew Israelism. We've got Straightway Church. All the pictures on the left side of the screen are from Straightway. Kabir, if you remember Green Bay, he's a Green Bay All-Star in their Hall of Fame. Sports Illustrated, the 3-part series on Kabir. They interviewed me for it. That's his pastor, Pastor Dow. And there you've got Kabir, and then you've got Robert Mathis, Daniel Murr, some former Indianapolis Colts players. You got Jamal Charles, and I think the other guy is, I just forgot his name. Is it J.R.? He used to play for the Patriots. The guy on the bottom at Arizona State. He went to Arizona State. I think J.R. Edmond, I'm going to say. I just forgot his name. But that's not all. There's a lot more NFL players, even either current, and the chaplains that are with some of these groups have reached out to me and saying, these guys are going from Christian leaders in the locker room to now promoting Hebrew Israelism, which includes putting the law on everybody. That's one of the ways you know. But they don't only go to, just studying at their house. Sometimes these guys actually get into actual camps.